Good morning, members, Garrett and Holmes, staff and guests. The lobbies are open and the recording has begun.
Good morning, and now we will begin our board caucus for February the 18th, starting with Mark Webster giving us an update.
Well, good morning, Member Garrett and Holmes. It is crunch time this week as the first legislative cutoff hits this Friday. All bills need to have passed the policy committee they were referred to by the end of the week. There are always caveats with that, but by and large, we are going to start to see bills drop off and not be able to pass. That means that this week really does become a sprint where instead of a long list of hearings of a bill, they're trying to vote in executive session on those bills they'd like to move. Some of the bills we've talked about, of course, are on that list to get voted on, and both of our policy committees have a long list of bills on Friday, the cutoff date itself. Today, the Senate committee is voting on the cannabis retail advertising bill, and for Member Holmes, we had supported a version of this last year, kind of removes some of the restrictions on cannabis retail advertising. Public health was pretty outraged, and we've been neutral on it this year. They are also hearing the psychedelic therapy bill, Senate Bill 5201, but it does not appear that that bill will pass by cutoff as it is not scheduled for a vote at this time. Again, everything's subject to change. In the House today, our agency request bill on mask permitting is on the list to move. Our first already passed last week, and the Senate takes up our other agency request on the medical cannabis excise tax compliance on Friday. Also today in the House is a vote on the big tobacco flavor ban and the registry for vapor and other tobacco-like products, nicotine products. We will have to see if they vote. The House has done this a number of times where a number of bills get scheduled for a vote and then get taken off the list at the last minute. One of the ones that's happened to a couple times and is scheduled on Wednesday is the City of Seattle's outdoor service and World Cup fan zone preparation bill, House Bill 1515. They've talked about several amendments, such as allowing other fan zone sites, I think there are about 10 or 12 of those, to be able to designate some part of their city, some zone in their city, where they could enjoy the outdoor privileges reserved for the Seattle Center campus in the original bill. So we'll see if that amendment hangs onto the bill. They should also vote on the social equity pause and extension bill, House Bill 1551. I'd expect amendments on it. Haven't seen any at this point. We have communicated some of things that we think they need to do, such as removing the pause on the current or first round of social equity. And I know that our friends of the Department of Commerce have also suggested some amendments or clarification. Neither of us have heard anything on it at this point. They're also going to hear, this is again on Wednesday, an out-of-state ownership bill from Representative Morgan and a new bill on enforcement. This is House Bill 1884, which directs the LCB to conduct a public process that would result in a hierarchy of enforcement priorities. But they kind of give us the top two, which are youth access and inversion diversion. So this is mostly on, this is enforcement priorities for cannabis. So let's see, other than that, those bills, along with the ESOP bill allowing cannabis businesses to create employee stock ownership plans, those are all scheduled for a vote on Friday. And then on that day, they're going to hear, but not necessarily vote on, Representative Morgan's bill allowing cannabis social consumption, which is House Bill 1932. Again, it doesn't really look like it has a pathway to passing, but it is perhaps a sign that some want to explore that policy, and very timely because our research team just did a brief on that topic, which includes some best practices. The Senate has a long list of bills to vote on, but before they do that, they're going to hear a governor appointment. That is our own Chair Vollendroff's appointment to the LCB. Jim was already confirmed by the Senate in 2023, but he's going back before them because he assumed David Postman's appointment, I believe. Board member Garrett was also confirmed in 2023, and we're going to see where your appointment, if that's ready to go, or what the timing looks like for you, Member Holmes. I just want to flag one bill on that list on Friday in the Senate Labor and Commerce Committee. That is Senate Bill 5758. It kind of just dropped in the last few days, which reduces the buffer for cannabis businesses siting near parks and schools and the like. And then it also reduces the buffer between cannabis businesses in both cases for social equity applicants only. So it's focused on the social equity licensees and responding to some of the difficulties that they've had in finding a location that works. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions. It's a lot to throw at you.
Right. So on the ESOL, how do any feelings on how those things are looking? And I wrote down 1884. How are this stuff looking?
So ESOP is a bill that has generated a lot of controversy, or there is certainly some opposition to it. So I believe they were working on amendments to address the concern that it would allow out-of-state ownership, essentially. And these were some of the things. Obviously, this policy came before the board before they went the legislative route, and I think some of the issues that we discussed here, those discussions are still taking place in the legislature. So I'm not sure where that one's going to go. It has some strong support, but some pretty significant opposition as well.
Okay. And on
And
the
then,
pause, we
yes,
haven't heard anything yet
no,
on
and even
for the current
just now,
licensing. Okay.
no. Again, the concern that we had that we expressed to them was that it appears to pause the ongoing round of the 2780 worth the first round of social equity licensure. I don't think that was their intent, but
Right.
it is a little difficult to say. But neither myself or my counterpart at the Department of Commerce has heard from them, which is a little odd, but hopefully that'll all get clarified in the next day.
Pete, did you have any questions?
Just one. Mark, the enforcement priorities bill for
Yeah.
cannabis, I think 1584. I didn't catch
1884.
what the 1884.
Yeah.
What was the second priority they gave us after youth enforcement,
Yeah,
youth access?
Inversion and diversion. So a very different, but another bill asking to make inversion diversion a very, very high priority of enforcement was introduced last year. Can't remember if it was also introduced in 2023, but there are a number of licensees who feel that the agency should be doing more to tackle inversion and diversion of product into the illicit market. I think that is something that we do and investigate, but we've definitely heard from licensees who want to make that more of a formal priority. It's unclear what that would really do, but
I was gonna say, so what brought that on and what would it really do? Because that sounds like that should be part of what we're doing anyway.
it absolutely is. And I think, so many of these things get muddled together, but the perception that we are enforcing things like signage, again, to talk about another bill, or other things, or complaints versus what they see as a higher or more pressing concern of inversion and diversion. So they want to formally, I guess, convince the enforcement to make that a higher priority. I think what that looks like on the ground, I'm with you, Member Garrett. It's not really clear what that would mean. Obviously, that's a priority right now.
Right, exactly. And whose bill is that?
That is Representative Waters with Representative Reeves on second.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Pete, did you have anything else?
Just a comment. I read the research article memo on the social consumption lounges. It's excellent, and I assume obviously the legislature has access to that.
They
But
do.
kudos to
I-
Sarah's group.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that was
said that
great.
to Representative Morgan when I saw her bill had dropped, and Will and I had a good conversation with her on that topic.
Good deal.
All right, I think that was it on the agenda today, unless you have something else, Pete?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. With that, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.